Good morning, all of you Merry Miamians. I'm Molly Young from the Miami University Alumni Association, and today, as part of the Alumni Association's webinar series, we present a special holiday-inspired Cooking with Nancy, Merry and Mindful Seasons Eating. So I don't know if you all are aware, but this is one of my personal favorite webinar events of the year. So we are so pleased to have you joining us on location in Phillips Hall today. So Nancy Parkinson, often known as Nancy the Nutrition Nut, super affectionately known. Nancy is a registered dietitian, and she's an associate clinical lecturer in the Department of Kinesiology, Nutrition, and Health here at Miami. I should also mention that Nancy is a vital part of the university community, the Oxford community as a whole, with her boundless energy and support of all things nutrition education. So Nancy, we are proud and pleased to have you here with us. Also, we have Nancy's really great group of students here with us who I'm going to let her introduce, but for a number of reasons, hanging out with you in this kitchen is like my favorite place. So awesome. I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us what's on the menu and introduce these fine folks.
Well, thanks, Molly, for that nice introduction. This is my 19th year teaching at Miami University, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist, and so I love teaching my students. So nutrition team, come on up. I'll introduce them, and then they'll just say what they're going to make today. Actually, I'll start first. I am going to make sweet and sour meatballs, and we're going to serve it over some jasmine rice. And this is Anna. Anna, what are you going to make?
I'm making chicken chili today.
And Ella, what are you going to make?
I'm making a lemon curd trifle.
And we have another Ella. Ella, what are you going to make?
I'm making roasted Brussels sprouts with balsamic and bacon.
And then Jess?
I'm making pumpkin cranberry bread.
Okay, thank you, ladies. And Anne, if you want to stay, and you can assist me, and we'll work together. So one thing that is really special about working with students is that it's a holiday every time I cook with my students. Every time it's a holiday. So this is an exceptional holiday that I have the dream team together. So I'm going to make sweet and sour meatballs, and this is a recipe that my mom made. And one thing over the holidays is saving time and doing meal prep. So this is something I made meatballs ahead of time. So I'm going to add the meatballs to my sweet and sour sauce. And this is something that my mom taught me to make. My sister actually made my apron. And so I bring a little bit of home wherever I do any type of demonstration. So thank you, Miami alumni and friends, for joining us here today. So first off, I'm going to start with turning on my induction cooker. So this is induction scan pan cookware, and it works by magnetic field. So I'm going to turn that on. Notice it said add pan, right? So I'm going to turn that up because I'm going to saute some onions and garlic. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my pan. And we'll get that going. And I will have, I've got some garlic and yellow peppers that I've diced up, some peppers and onions. I've got some dry ginger. You can use fresh ginger too, and you can actually keep ginger, fresh root ginger in the freezer and grate it as you need it. And then I've got some low sodium soy sauce, and I'm first going to make a slurry. Okay, and my professor, Barb Stetler, is watching. She's a Miami alum and my professor at Bluffton University. I'm going to make a slurry. So I just use some pineapple juice because I'm going to put some of the sweet in the sweet and sour meatballs is pineapple. So I'm going to, this is a 6-ounce can of pineapple juice. And I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. And that's going to make a slurry. And that will thicken my mixture. That's going to thicken my sauce. And I'll add that just in a minute. Okay, so that's called a little slurry. Cornstarch cooks at a boiling temperature. My oil is it's getting warm, so that's great. I'm going to add, you hear the sizzle of those onions. Add some garlic. And you want to get those heated till they're a little bit clear. Notice I have mise en place, everything in its place. So I had my equipment, I've got my ingredients. So we're doing pretty good so far. I just like to hear things frying in a little skillet. And you got a little jumpy, didn't it, Anna?
Yeah.
So garlic is good for cardiovascular system to help with inflammation. Oh, that looks good. See, they're getting a little bit clear. Oh, doesn't that smell good? Everybody, it smells fantastic. So I'm going to add some peppers. I wanted to make room. Dave, I know you're wanting to know why I didn't use all the peppers. Because I want to make room for my meatballs and my pineapple. I just love that color. When you add color to your meal, say if you have oatmeal for breakfast, add blueberries. That's adding color. It's adding water. It's adding vitamins. It's adding fiber. It's adding nutrition, which your system needs. So peppers have that vitamin A, vitamin C, good for wound healing, inflammation in the joints. Yeah, I was a softball player and throwing from center field to home base. I got some bursitis going on, so I do have some inflammation. Pineapple also helps with that. Fresh pineapple has bromelain, and it is an enzyme that helps break down that that nasty stuff that causes that inflammation. Oh, that's looking good, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I think they're getting tender. So I'm going to add some ginger. I just have dried ginger. So ginger and some light soy sauce. And you can add more or less if you want, but I always get the low sodium. I just keep it moving. With induction cooking, it heats pretty quickly. So you have to keep your food on the move in the skillet. And then I'm going to add some vinegar, that's the sour, and some brown sugar, that's the sweet. Okay. And I do like to taste it to see if I need a little bit more of either once I'm done with my final product. But that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to stir my slurry a little bit more. I'm going to add some to my mixture. And at first it is cloudy, it looks white, but when it starts to cook, it'll become clear. It's already starting to become clear. Then I'm going to add my pineapple juice. So this adds more liquid. This pineapple tidbits. You could add crushed. You could add chunks. This was my best friend's favorite meal. You can serve it over rice. You can serve it over noodles. You can serve it over chow mein noodles. You can serve it with potatoes. I guess you could serve it over toast. And I can see I need just a little bit more of that slurry. There we go. That should start to thicken pretty quick. We talked about that in 104. Now, Anna, what's your major?
Kinesiology.
And what do you like? What do you like about food and nutrition?
I learned so many new things. I used to do 4-H, so I did nutrition projects, and so I'm just building my knowledge on top of that.
And what's your major?
Kinesiology.
And what do you want to do?
Right now, I want to do nursing.
Okay,
So.
that works. See, it's already starting to get a little bit thick. A little bit thick. I'm going to get it just a little bit more thick, and then I can add the delicious meatballs, which was my homemade recipe. And I used lean ground beef. And so what's important, you notice I have the vinegar and a little bit of sugar, but I'm going to add some protein. So balancing over the holidays and every day, balancing your protein with your carbohydrates. That is very key. Look, it's starting to get thick. Can you tell it's getting thick? That's a perfect time to add the meatballs. So we'll add the meatballs. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Is it going to fit? No, fit. And then you just cover each little meatball with that sauce. And we're going to let that heat up because I want my meatballs hot. And we temp them this morning. They were 165 degrees. So ground beef needs to be at 165 degrees. Look at that. It's bubbling. You can tell it's boiling. So that's when that cornstarch, that slurry is going to thicken all my liquids in there. So I could make this a day ahead, 2 days ahead. I can make the meatballs. I can freeze the meatballs. And when I have company, then I'll just reheat everything. I can just retherm it. That's another time-saving little tip. And then I've got a combination of my protein and my carbohydrates. It helps balance those blood sugars so you don't feel hungry and aren't like famished when you go to an event. So when you're having a holiday event, if the event is in the evening, then still have your breakfast. Take your little walk, have your little exercise, and don't go off of your routine so you're not famished when you get to the party. And you can spend time with your family and friends, that's the most important part about this holiday. Realizing that we are gifted with our family and friends, and we just spend time with them. And of course, it's fun to share family recipes. We do a weekly lunch and learn program. And so every week we have demonstrated a different recipe. And Anna is going to make our chicken chili, which is another protein carbohydrate combination food that you can have. So that's important for people who have been diagnosed with diabetes to have that protein carbohydrate combination. Look how that sauce is clear. My cornstarch is all cooked up. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. There we go. To about medium. Yeah, so because I'm liking that. Look at the color in that bit. Green, red, yellow. That's really festive. How about that, Molly?
Festive.
Yeah. And we have some jasmine rice, and we'll serve that over. Let me clear some of this out of the way for a second.
Nancy, can you shed a little light other than ground beef on what's in the meatballs?
Oh, sure. Well, actually, I used my meatloaf recipe. So I have an egg. I have some seasoned breadcrumbs. Sometimes I use crushed up Cheez-It crackers to add some cheese. I put Parm cheese in there, low sodium or Worcestershire sauce, mustard, ketchup. Today I use tomato sauce. So ketchup, mustard, and the recipe, I think where you can send everybody or they'll have access to the recipe. So Parm cheese and breadcrumbs and egg, a little bit of tomato juice, Worcestershire sauce, mustard, salt and pepper.
Ooh.
So it's basically my meatloaf recipe that I made into meals. Oh, diced onions.
Okay.
I put some diced onion in there. Yeah, so that works. But you can use sausage and meat, ground beef, or turkey and ground beef are like a combination. Some people like to have that different.
Be creative.
Yeah, you can be creative. Sure.
That looks gorgeous.
I think we can pour it over the rice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it. I'll do my strong arm. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Lovely. There you go. So Mom's sweet and sour meatballs, a time saver, a combination of protein and carbohydrates. We've got our different colors with our variegated peppers and some garlic and ginger and low sodium soy sauce. All right, so we have that. And now Anna is going to make chicken chili, which I mentioned we have our weekly lunch and learn that we try out recipes. And so an initiative that our nutrition students have started is we have an online pantry cook list. So during COVID, university, got hit with needs for all students. And so they asked our nutrition students to start a pantry. And so we said, well, let's do this kind of like the smart way. So right now we have a dry food pantry on campus. And one of our most asked for or requested kits, because we have food kits, we address food allergies, is the chicken chili. And so Anna, you utilized that program, right?
Yeah.
And you live in the dorm?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell us a little about your experience with making chicken chili?
Yeah. So I made it in the dorm, and all my friends helped me make it, and so we learned a little bit everything about it. But first, we're going to start with red chili beans.
So do we just put everything in a pot? Everything is available at the pantry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our red chili beans. Yep. Let's scrape all that out of there. the cost of food is expensive and it's not going down. So, you know, even our pantry, we have equipment. So you have, we have a wooden spoon, we have a rubber spatula, we have a can opener because some people may not have a can opener. All right.
Now we're gonna add some black beans.
So black beans. So that's a great source of protein, great source of fiber. Once again, to level out those blood sugars. Okay. What do we have next?
We have some drained corn.
Okay. So any type of corn is fine, right? Can I stir this around a little bit?
Yeah.
So once again, we've got some color. So that's pretty good there. And then, diced tomatoes. You can have seasoned diced tomatoes, low sodium diced tomatoes. There's a lot of availability in stores right now. So we're adding some more color. We've got some vitamin C and vitamin A. So vitamin A in the corn, vitamin C and A in the tomatoes. Lycopene is a phytonutrient in tomatoes that actually helps with preventing cancer.
And then next we're gonna add some canned chicken.
And I just like to add the whole broth because you're adding protein, more protein with the beans. There's protein in the corn. And then that chicken is basically adding some more chicken broth. So with that diced chicken. So these are all shelf-stable items that we get in the pantry, and the students love this kit. And V8 juice. Once again, my mom always put V8 juice in her chili, and so I thought, let's add some V8 juice. So we can easily add that to the kit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got some protein, we've got some carbohydrates, we have some vitamin A, vitamin C, we're addressing inflammation, we're addressing the carbohydrate protein balance. And now we need a little bit of seasoning, right? So we've got our chili mix. There we go. And you can get low sodium chili mix too. Yeah.
This is nice to make in the dorm because you just need a pan and a wooden spoon and then you're good to go. And it's easy, add extras. So I ate it for the next few days.
Okay. And so you did some meal prepping.
Mm-hmm.
So you provided the food once, and then you prepped, and then you were able to eat it off a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
So we made this during our weekly lunch and learn, and we actually had kits available. So if they liked it and they tried it, they could take a kit. And if they wanted more, or they told their friends about it, then they ordered from the pantry. How easy was it to order from the pantry and pick up?
Very easy.
What was that process?
I had a paper during class, and also my friend that took the 104 class from before told me about it. And so it's just a Google form. You can go in and choose all the different options, and then you just come and pick it up at the Phillips building, just take it back.
And so some people pick it up during our lunch and learn. Mm-hmm. So they're actually tasting another recipe and then picking up their food kit. So the lobby's pretty full.
Yeah.
We've had, between 75 and 100 students in the lobby every Wednesday from 12 to 1. They're either picking up their kit or they're learning about different foods and quick things to make, just like here. So very good. Well, thank you, Anna, for sharing with us. And we'll have a quick change here for our next recipe. And this is Ella. Ella is a senior, right?
Yes.
Nutrition major. And you want to be a registered dietitian, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And have you applied for a dietetic internship?
I've applied to one, but the rest are due in February, so still working.
Okay. And this is Jess. She's also a nutrition major. And both of these ladies have been working with our food pantry here on campus and our lunch and learns. So what recipe are we going to make today?
We're making the pineapple salsa.
Okay. And this is another kit that's available for students. They can order a kit. They can order things individually or in a kit, right? And what's been your role with the pantry?
So I got introduced to the pantry last semester for my 420G dietetic experience. So Professor Parkinson kind of introduced me to it, and I realized how many people were utilizing it, which is really awesome. I right now just help with pantry distribution, so passing out the kits whenever the students come and pick them up. and anything else that's needed.
And you also were instrumental in receiving funding from a grant that helps out support the pantry. And then Jess, how have you been involved with the pantry?
So like Ella, I got involved last semester as well. My primary role is helping to pack orders and helping with distribution a little bit, restocking, that kind of stuff.
And she sends me the inventory order so that I know what to purchase. So with our pineapple salsa, which is another kit that students like, what shows how to put that together then?
All right, so we have one already done right here, so you can kind of see what the finished product looks like. Here, I'll put that over here. But we are going to first just mix. We have drained corn and then drained black beans.
I'll take your bowl.
Okay. You want to add the other two?
And then we have pineapple, and this is the picante sauce here.
As you just use the juice and everything. You'll use the juice and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what's the nutritional information? What's the nutrients important in our salsa?
Yeah, so we have a ton of fiber, which is great for blood sugar control and your gut health, and a ton of vitamin A from the different veggies in here. Fruit in here. Oops.
So there's protein in the beans.
Protein in the beans, carbohydrates for energy. Like Professor Parkinson was saying, having the protein and the carbs together is great. And we have salsa. All right, I think that's good.
Yeah, we'll put it over here. There we go.
But yeah, this is super easy. I remember I made it when I was in the dorms, going to a Super Bowl little party with my friends, and everyone really loved it. And it was so easy because I couldn't cook anything in the dorms. So
Okay.
yeah, and it's super simple.
Thank you, ladies. And with each of our kits, we have a recipe that we give. We have one for chicken chili and one for the pineapple salsa. And then what are we going to make next? Ella, what are you going to make?
We're going to make roasted Brussels sprouts with balsamic and bacon.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Just clean that up just a little bit. Okay.
All right. So
Now, why is this recipe special for you and your family?
this recipe is special for me. Well, this specific recipe is not a family historical recipe or anything, but Brussels sprouts are special because my aunt passed away in 2017, and it was right after the holiday season. And so I remember she made Brussels sprouts that Christmas before, and I had never enjoyed Brussels sprouts or anything, but trying hers, I remember I was like, wow, I really like them. So that was kind of the first time I was introduced, and they were roasted Brussels sprouts with balsamic. So now when I have them, I think of her, and it's just a sweet memory.
And that's something about the holidays, you know, our family and friends who are with us and who are not with us. So to bring those, keep them close to our heart. We remember them in different things. I think that's exciting to share.
Yeah.
Very good.
So this recipe is actually by Katie Kick, who is a recipe creator. Good Life Eats, I think, is her website if you guys want to check it out. So it's super simple. You just start with washing your Brussels sprouts, cutting the ends off, and then cutting them in half. Some of them I cut into quarters too, just because they were really big. But yeah, we prep those. And also, you might have some leaves that come off when you're cutting them, but personally, I think that's the best part when those little pieces get crispy. So don't worry about that. And then we're just going to add some olive oil to these.
So that was about a tablespoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's about a tablespoon.
So you stir those around
Yep.
to get them coated with the olive oil.
Yes. And Jess, you mind passing me that pan? Sorry. Thank you. And we would have the oven preheating at 425 right now, because these are going to roast for about 20 to 30 minutes until they get brown and crispy like those are. And you want to try to not to overcrowd the pan, because then they won't get as crispy. So just spread them out, and then we are going to add some salt and pepper.
And you can make these a day ahead, right?
Yeah, I think they'd be great to prep ahead.
I actually did a quality check yesterday, and it was the perfect balance of sweet and savory. A little bit of salt and pepper, and you've got the oil there, so the salt and pepper will stick.
Yep. And if you've ever had Brussels sprouts, but they were just boiled, I recommend trying them roasted because they're so much better. All right, so these just roast for about 20 to 35 minutes. And then once they're done, they're going to come out, and all you're going to do is mix them with about, let's back up first. You're going to make your bacon in the process. So we had thick cut bacon, about 8 ounces, and we just pan fried that until it was crispy, and then crumbled it into pieces. So that's what we have here.
And you could use low sodium bacon, or you could use turkey bacon,
Yeah.
and you could also use vegetable-based bacon,
Yeah.
soy bacon. Yeah.
And they're great even without the bacon as well. If you want to add like pomegranate seeds or cranberries, those go really well with this too.
Oh, that would be really colorful for the holiday too.
And then something kind of cool, so you'll save about a teaspoon of the bacon grease once you're done cooking the bacon, and then you mix that with about a tablespoon or so of balsamic vinegar, which we have here. And so then that's just going to add more flavor to the Brussels sprouts.
So once they're roasted, how long do they have to roast at 425?
They roast for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. And so some of the leaves, they can get crispy and start to turn,
Yeah.
just like you have in our finished product. All right, very good.
So then you'll mix, once those are done roasting, all you'll do is add in your balsamic with your bacon grease and your crumbled bacon, and then you mix it all together, and then this is what you get as your final product.
And so there's vitamin C, vitamin A for inflammation, for heart health, for skin health, for hair, and wound healing, all that with vitamin A and vitamin C.
Yeah.
And actually it is lower in calories, so a half a cup is 25 calories and a little bit of protein, so and a little bit of starch. So
vitamin K too they're really high in vitamin K.
okay.
I think about a cup, you get your daily value for vitamin K, which is great for wound healing.
And red blood cell development too.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's all.
All right, thanks. Thank you. And then Jess is going to make cranberry pumpkin bread, which it smelled so good when we were baking that off. So we'll get her set up.
So Nancy, while we're making this transition, we've had a couple of folks ask how they can contribute to the food pantry by way of either financial contribution or donation of actual dry goods.
That is, we appreciate that. That is great to hear. So actually, we just started an Amazon wish list. So we will send that out to all the participants of our session today, and then we do have a special fund set up through my university, and we'll send that out also with a QR code, so you can link it, especially links to an account that is specifically for purchases. Now, our kit, the average cost is $25 per kit. They get a choice of a protein, vegetable, a grain, and a kit, one of the kits, and then some equipment. So it's about $25 average kit. And in 2022, we distributed 73 kits. In 2023, we distributed 303 kits. And since January of 2024, we have distributed 1,800 kits. So by word of mouth and our lunch and learn, our education programs, students are utilizing what we have. So, any support is greatly appreciated. And Jess, you've been working with the pantry too, and give us some of your experiences with the pantry, like when people come to pick up a kid? Like, it's
Oh,
very heartwarming.
It's so heartwarming. Everyone is so sweet and so kind. I know Ellen has experienced this too. Everyone's really thankful, and it's just so nice to see and really great to hear.
And students helping students. We're educating and we're helping students. And you know, if you need a wooden spoon, you got a wooden spoon. You know, and so we appreciate our students involved with that. And I have all my students attend the Lunch and Learn so they know what it's about. And then, when they become juniors and seniors, they're actually helping plan what are we serving for Lunch and Learn. And then they're helping utilize or work in the pantry, distribution and inventory and purchasing. Okay, so this looks phenomenal. And is this a family favorite?
This is a family favorite. It's what I make every year at Thanksgiving. It's very well loved in my family.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with 2 bowls here. We're going to start with our bigger one. This is where we're going to add our dry ingredients, and then we're going to put our wet ingredients in this one and then add it to the bigger bowl. So we'll start with 3 cups of flour. Thank you. And then we will do our spices over here. So this is pumpkin pie spice. It is 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons. And then we have a teaspoon and a half of salt. There we go. And then we have 2 teaspoons of baking soda. All right, and then we will mix this all together before moving on to our wet ingredients.
Now, what temperature did the bread bake?
I don't measure a specific temperature usually, but a good way.
I mean, the oven. What was the oven?
Oh, the oven was 350.
Okay, 350. And I made 2 loaves, right? 2 9x5 loaves.
Yes, 2 loaves, and then to judge when it's done, I usually take a toothpick and I'll insert it and make sure it comes out clean. That's when I tell it's done. Okay, so that looks good for now. So we'll go with our wet ingredients plus our sugar. And for mixing the wet ingredients, if you have a stand mixer, that works really well. But if you don't, you can totally do it by hand as well. So this was a can of pumpkin puree, which was 15 ounces.
And there's lots of vitamin A in the pumpkin too, right?
Mm-hmm. Lots of vitamin A, which is good for
eyes and skin. Yeah.
And this was orange juice, about a half a cup.
Oh, some more vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
So for infection and wound healing.
Mm-hmm. And then 4 eggs.
So protein in our eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So for muscle growth and repair.
Mm-hmm. And then this is a cup of vegetable oil. And I'm going to use the whisk to mix this all together.
And this is another recipe that you can make ahead. You can actually freeze it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's good for like a breakfast bread or a dinner or a little dessert or with tea, coffee.
You could do some yogurt for some more protein.
Oh, yeah.
And then once this is all mixed together, we'll go ahead and put it into our dry ingredients. And then we will add our cranberries. And cranberries have lots of antioxidants, which is great for inflammation, like we talked about earlier.
And you can use dried cranberries, fresh cranberries like we have here, or frozen cranberries, right?
Yeah.
Would you thaw the frozen cranberries?
I see you would thaw
Yeah,
them.
okay, a little bit.
I just made them with fresh, which I would definitely recommend. If you've never had fresh cranberries that are baked, it's so yummy.
Probably get a burst of that sweet tartness.
Yes,
with
it's
that
really
pumpkin,
tart, which I love. All right, so this is looking pretty good. So we will go ahead and add this to our dry.
Yeah, that will definitely make 2 loaves. I can
Mhm.
tell that. That could be a nice gift too, if you made a loaf and wrapped it nice and put a little ribbon with it.
Mhm.
That'd be a nice gift for somebody.
Yeah. And then I always have to remind myself whenever I'm mixing these together is to scrape the bottom because you can get little pockets of flour that hide down there.
Good point. And you said yesterday when you were making this that you use a little spray oil for the baking, the bread pan,
Yes.
and then you put a little bit of flour. So that's one way to do it.
Yes.
But you also yesterday you used parchment paper. Okay. So
Yeah. Both honestly work really well.
Okay.
I do find that sometimes if you do just do the oil and flour, it can stick to the pan a little bit. But the parchment paper worked really well. I just made sure it cooled completely before I peeled it off. But I think you can do it either way. So whatever works best for you. But you do want to let it cool for 10 minutes before you take it out of the pan after it comes out of the oven. And it'll bake for about 55 minutes to 60 minutes, sometimes a little longer. Definitely always watch the bread rather than the cloth.
So do you stir it till the flour is all moistened?
Yes.
Okay.
So you just moisten.
Just moistened. Okay.
And then after this is good, we will add in our cranberries.
Okay.
And then we'll pour it into the pans and we'll
Well,
be
how
good.
colorful is that?
I know, it's so beautiful.
And like I said, adding color to any dish that you have is going to add water, fiber, and nutrients that your system needs. So just perk it up a little bit.
And this recipe, I believe it is Libby's on their website.
Okay.
And they do technically call for a cup of cranberries, but I always do a little more because I love cranberries. So whatever your heart's desire. It's like adding chocolate chips to chocolate chip cookies.
Very good.
All right. And then this is all good. And then you will add it to your loaves. And that's 2 loaves like we mentioned. And then
there's the final product.
yes.
All right. Very good.
We have more dessert.
Yes. And this has fresh fruit with it. And Ella was in my 104 class this semester, which is Intro to Food Science. And so, Ella, what is your major?
I'm a kinesiology major.
And what do you plan to do with that?
Physical therapy.
Okay. And I told you that I ordered, or that I just purchased lemons without seeds. First time I've seen those. So
I haven't seen them either.
they were a little bit smaller, but I actually, they were firm, but I just rubbed them a little bit to get them soft so I could get more juice from them. Yeah. Okay, so actually in our 104 class, I have the students do a demonstration with a piece of equipment. And so Ella, actually her team, Anna and Ella were in a team. So Anna, you can come up too. They did a double boiler. Okay, and so this is the base of the double boiler, and you put a little bit of water in there, right? You don't want it to touch the bottom, but they put some water in there, and then you can explain the rest of the process for your lemon curd, which is phenomenal. So I said, I know Molly had just contacted me about doing this webinar, and I said, I have the perfect dessert for our webinar. So because I love lemon bars, lemon curd, and I said this is fantastic. So thank you, Ella. Thank you.
Molly loves lemon curd.
Yeah. So thank you, Ella and Anna, for sharing your wonderful recipe with us.
Okay, so we actually found a tip for the double boiler. If you put marbles where the water is and the marbles rattle, then you need more water. So that's a tip because sometimes it can be hard to tell how much water.
Or it can go dry. It can go dry. Yeah.
So I made this morning, the lemon curd. It's supposed to be cold so you can make it 3 weeks in advance. It lasts a long time in the fridge. So it's great to make ahead. And this isn't like a traditional Christmas dessert, but any chance I get to make a trifle, I will. So this is a lemon curd and we made it in the double boiler. And so you zest lemons, you get a tablespoon of lemon, and you want to mix that in with the sugar, and that really brings out the lemony taste. And then you want to dissolve that in the double boiler with lemon juice and sugar with the zest and salt. And then you will add, once that's dissolved together, you will add your 3 eggs and 4 egg yolks. So that was probably the hardest part, was trying not to break the egg yolks and mixing it all together and then getting it off. So you'll whisk that together, and you want to keep whisking it because you don't want the egg whites to cook. So that's why you keep whisking it continuously. And once it cooks the back of the spoon, it's thick enough, take it off the heat, you stir in some butter. And the most important part, I know you like the film on the top. I do not like the film on the top of puddings or curds. So you put saran wrap on the surface area of the curd, and that prevents the milk proteins from, and the butter
Thickening, yeah.
from thickening.
Yeah. Which we learned that in 104.
We did.
When we made chocolate pudding.
Yes. So same thing for this curd. So for the trifle, here's the finished product. So you can see you just layer it with angel food cake, curd, whatever fruit you want. I like strawberries and blueberries. So you can start off, doesn't matter what you do first. I like to do some angel food cake first. And I like to put it towards the side because the rest of the ingredients will fill in, but if you want it to look pretty on the side, then you want to get it right on the outside of the dish. And you can put some curd in it. And you can also put whipped cream in this. You can mix together the curd with the whipped cream, or you can layer the whipped cream in it, or just put it on top. Right towards the outsides. And then layer it with your fruit. I like dicing my strawberries. For some reason, they taste better to me. Some blueberries.
And we've used regular sugar, but I've actually used of Splenda in a lemon meringue pie mixture. So you could, for those who have to watching their blood sugar levels. And the angel food cake is less. It's more egg white, so you've got some protein and carbohydrates there. Then, of course, our fresh fruit with the blueberries and the strawberries. Mm-hmm. That's adding more fiber and vitamin C, vitamin A.
Plenty of vitamins and minerals in this dessert, so you can convince
yourself. And the
yourself.
colors, I love the colors.
Mm-hmm. You can make this for a brunch if you want something fancy. It's really refreshing, especially in the summertime. Top it with the rest of some more fruit. And then you can top this again with some whipped cream if you want. But if not, there you go.
There you go. Well, thank you. What do you plan to do with your kinesiology major, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do you plan to do with that major?
Physical therapy.
Okay.
Yep, I'm applying to grad schools now and waiting to make my acceptance.
All right. Very good. Very good.
After I graduate.
It smells phenomenal up here and looks phenomenal. I hope you can see a bit of what we are seeing right here. So we have our sweet and sour meatballs, we have our salsa and our chicken chili, our roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon, and then our pumpkin cranberry bread, and then our lemon curd fresh fruit parfaits. So I hope you have a chance to try
the
these.
color here is festive in and of itself, but color is important, right? In
it
any
is.
sort of nutritional meal.
It is.
And way to improve upon a Brussels sprout,
Right.
I have to say.
Right.
I smelled a Brussels sprout that smells so good. Great double boiler tip, by the way. This whole time, all of my cooking career have just really struggled with like the right appropriate way to use a double
there
boiler.
you go.
So the marbles, really great idea.
And you don't want the water to hit the bottom of the pan, then it's too hot. It could bubble over. And get your product too hot. Like she said, it was a low heat, low simmer on the water because you didn't want to cook the eggs to like a scrambled egg.
Oh yeah. That's also sort of yeah. So we did have a couple questions about donating to the food pantry. I know that you said you had the Amazon wish list that we can send out.
Right.
There's also a link on the webinar registration page that you should have received, and in your email you can give through that. I think you can also, can you drop something off to the Student Success Center? It sort of sounded like that on the website. You might give a call or check the website first.
Yeah,
if you're
there are
interested
different
in doing
donation
that.
points, yes, or in
Thought
Phillips
so,
Hall
yeah.
at the lab, they can do that if they wanted to do that. And we can also send out the list, so because spaghetti sauce, black beans, corn, you saw how we utilize that today for our kits. And so we also have hummus kits. So there are some top items that we always have. Rice, we always get white rice, brown rice. We do individual packets of rice, and then also like a 2-pound packet of rice,
Okay.
because we're addressing undergraduate students, graduate students, single on campus or off campus. They might have families, so graduate students have a certain amount of income, and so at some point, everybody needs something that, and the cost of food is not going down. So that's just something that we've seen that we can help our fellow students.
And so many of the items in those kits are versatile, so you can mix and match.
Right.
Super exciting. And I just want to point out that I'm wearing my Miami apron that Nancy gave me the last time, so we can
This
make
is
that
our
trip
second
together.
holiday
Yes, our
one,
second
right?
holiday
Holiday
webinar.
one.
We'll be back again, not on a Tuesday, because Nancy does her
Monthly Monday meals.
Monday meals.
We do a monthly
Yes,
meal.
I
We
love
fed
that
200
alliteration.
last night
Oh, man.
at the local Oxford Senior Center.
Amazing.
So we did 200 meals, about 85 drive-through, and then the rest were inside. So it was. I have a food system management class that's involved with that project.
Well, just so you know, Nancy and her students are out in the world, really doing some good stuff. You're doing some really great stuff. Thank you all for being here. Students, you want to come up and just sign off with us? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all the good stuff that you celebrate this holiday season. Season's greetings, season's eatings, and love and honor.
All right, thank you.